Welcome to The Inner Wonder. I'm Alex and I'm your host.
Hi thinkers. Today we talk about sacrifice decisions. Sacrifice decisions are those decisions that we make that go against our beliefs and our vision of life with the false promise that they will bring us long-term happiness. We somehow convince ourselves that those decisions are necessary for us in order to achieve something that will fulfill us in the long term. But in the short term, it just feels like a sacrifice. The muse for this episode will be two. Firstly, we start with a personal experience of mine that happened in 2018. It was back then that I got accepted into an internship in a Big 4 company. Somehow though, although I was striving for it, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. And here I was, 2 weeks prior starting the program, browsing my computer screen. I was bored and unsettled. Suddenly, I saw an opportunity on my university portal. Volunteers needed ASAP for an English teaching project in China. Flights paid. I was like, here we are. Somehow, it's just a spark. Somehow, it felt good. I searched for a bit. I was not able to find much, but I was thinking, it's in the university portal. It can't really be a scam. So I applied. They reached out to me immediately and said that they needed to do an interview ASAP because if I was successful, I'll need to fly there in 1 week. A week? Hell yeah. I didn't even think about my internship, the fact that I needed a visa, or even the fact that I knew nothing about this project. Not even where it was, just that it was English teaching in China and flights paid. I called my mom. She was in a seminar abroad. She responded saying very quietly, "Hey, I'm at the conference. Is it urgent?" This shows the typical care of a mother that even though as busy as she is, she would always pick up and ask if it's urgent. I said, "Mom, I might be going to China in a week, so I just wanted to let you know." She was silent for a second. And then she said, "Whatever you do, just be safe." Long story short, I was successful at the interview, booked my flights, got an express appointment for my visa, packed my bags, emailed the company I was not going for the internship, and flew to China. Here I am, a week later, on a flight to China from Cyprus through Moscow. I still didn't know much about the program, but I was hoping it was not a scam. Many feelings crossed my mind. I felt settled and excited though. I arrived in China only to realize that Google and all my social media was not working. Back then, knowledge of VPN for me was zero. Second realization, people don't really speak English here. Third realization, which train do I board? The project was in the city of Bangbu in Anhui province, and I was clueless how to get there. So here I am, in the train station in Shanghai, trying to find a train that would take me to Bangbu. I had no internet, no point of contact. I was clueless. But I found the train. Damn, it was fast. I was mind blown. I didn't know whether I had a seat allocated, and I was just so lost that I couldn't ask. So I remained standing for 3 hours with all my suitcases. Fast forward a couple of weeks. It has been one of the most beautiful decisions I ever took in my life. The people I met, the emotions I encountered, and the personal growth that I have achieved was simply remarkable. Sometimes we make decisions in a blink of a second, and things just go great. So great that we look back and we're so happy and grateful that we took that decision. And the only thing that guides us to those decisions is just a feeling that it's the right thing to do. This project was definitely one of those. The experience I had in this project in China will remain with me forever, and I wish to share them in some future episodes. In this episode, however, the inner wonder is sacrifice decisions. It is common for people to make decisions that they're fully aware they don't want at the moment for something better in the future. Oftentimes, something better is really not defined. It's just a fallacy we live in. The fallacy of postponing what we love, postponing what makes us fulfilled, and postponing happiness. I will take this job now to secure my future. I will only do it for a couple of years, and then I'll do what I love. It's just a summer internship. I would love to go traveling, but I'll do it next year. In my experience, this is easy to become a habit. We end up living for tomorrow. We act today to enjoy tomorrow. But if we constantly do that, the enjoyment never becomes a reality. Because it's always tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, patience is important and needed to achieve and do what we want. The same as discipline. The reality though is we do it more often than we should. And oftentimes for no reason. Simply because of a habit. Yeah, sometimes we do things we don't love, but it feels right, and that's okay. Because it will take us where we want to be. So how do we differentiate between the decisions that are sacrifice decisions and the decisions that actually take us where we want to be? Let me give you 2 takes on that. First, ask yourself, since I started this decision, am I getting closer and closer to where I want to be and the vision of myself? If the answer is yes, then you're on the track. If the answer is not yes, then maybe you can reconsider. Secondly, does it feel right? Thinkers, I know. All of us have done, are doing, and will do those decisions. What's important is to start realizing them before they become a habit, before they become what we do, and we never end up reaching where we want to be. We just constantly sacrifice the moment. But besides my personal experience, I've promised you another muse. And the other muse of this wonder is Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert. This is a fantastic book talking about sacrifices we do to achieve long-term happiness. Daniel Gilbert argues that while people strive to achieve happiness, their efforts are often misguided due to the inherent flaws in our ability to predict future emotional states. We're simply not that good at predicting what will make us happy in the future. If we can't predict what will make us happy in the future, is there merit in being unhappy now for something that we just think it will make us happy in the future? What do you think, thinkers? How about we act more today what makes us happy now and less of what could make us happy in the future? It's a very interesting read, and I do advise you thinkers to have a look at it. In putting all of this together, back then, I was thinking that this internship would open so many doors. It was the key to my success. It was part of my plan. I knew deep inside of me that it wasn't what I wanted to do, and it didn't feel right. But it would look good on my CV, I thought. Trust me. A few years later, my CV still looks good without that experience. But now I feel richer due to that trip and due to that experience in China, which felt right. Since then, every time I take a decision, I make sure it's not a sacrifice decision. Do I always do what I love? No, of course not. Sometimes I do things to be able to achieve something I love in the future. I do that though consciously and make sure it doesn't become a habit. I keep track that every day, every second spent on that decision takes me closer to where I want to be. Because the opportunity cost of an accumulation of sacrifice decisions is a whole life. It's an accumulation of moments that we're sacrificing for a moment that might never come. Thank you, thinkers.
Until our minds meet again, enjoy the inner wonder you're creating. Thanks, everybody. See you next episode.